All right, great morning again. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're having a great time with us. Now, it's time for us to look at the paper review, and let's see the headlines across Nigerian newspapers today. I have my regulars with me in the studio. Funke Treasurer is here. Funke, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Same
I like
here.
the rose on your... it looks good. Very good. And then I have Olade Indiario, who has been jealous all morning.
And he's in lots of roses.
You know, of course, the whole of you is roses today. Nice one. Good to see you, though. Welcome. Now, let's begin with the Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard says, tension as supplementary poll holds in Ihiala today. And Anambra going to Ihiala to fulfill all righteousness. That's Ume saying that. And APC denies calling for poll cancellation. Huddles before APC, PDP, YPP, and all of that. There's a lot of riders from that story. Now, that's Vanguard, of course. Know that the supplementary election for Ihiala will be holding today. It will commence at 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. The Guardian newspaper says candidates upbeat as INEC concludes Anambra Goba. I can still win this election, says the PDP's Ozigbo. APC refutes plan to drag Soludo INEC to court and several other writers as well. Okay, that's still concerning Anambra election. Leadership newspaper, Anambra supplementary poll, APC PDP bank on 140,000 Ihiala voters to overturn Soludo's lead. All right, that's the leadership newspaper. And First News is next. It's talking about Anambra. APC may boycott Ihiala supplementary poll. That's what First News is saying here. All right, from there, let's go to Daily Trust. That is shifting attention to something else. Daily Trust says, pension scam. Pensioners chairs Maina bags 61 years imprisonment. Act sordid, immoral, dirty. Judge is saying this. Lampoons banks for aiding and abetting and orders convicts to refund 2.4 billion naira forfeit 2 houses. Right? Certainly we'll be talking about this too as we get along. This Nigeria is next. 7 years after fraud case, Maina goes to jail. Ex-pension task force boss to refund over 2 billion naira. Drama as EFCC tries to rearrest him after conviction. Okay, that's this Nigeria. Daily Times is next. Daily Times says $418 million Paris Club refund, or payment rather, Malami working against public interests. The Nigeria Governors Forum is making these allegations here, Daily Times. From there, let's go to News Direct. And News Direct says $415 million Paris Club. Governor Slam Malami says the AGF working against Nigeria's interests. All right. Recall that the $408 million has been earmarked or was said to be earmarked for payment of consultants for the Paris Club refund money. And that has not gone down well with the governors. All right, from there, let's go to the Nation newspaper. Governors, Malami's role in Paris Club refund suspect. Row over $418 million consultancy fee deepens. And proposed deductions hasty. Okay, these are all dimensions of the story. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. Governors attack Malami over $418 million consultant's fee, say AGF lied. Haste suggests a special relationship between the AGF office and consultants. As the Nigeria Governors Forum saying this, state resources needed for critical development should not be frittered away. Okay, that's the Punch newspaper. From there, let's go to Daily Sun. Paris Club deductions, governors furious with Malami. They accuse AGF of working against Nigeria's interest. Looted assets, we've recovered appreciable milestones, says Justice Minister. That's the Daily Sun now. From there, let's go to Nigeria Tribune. Tribune says deducting $418 million Paris Club refund from Federation account unlawful. The Nigeria Governors Forum is saying this. Alleges 186.5 million dollars, 19 billion naira wrongly paid in 2016 and 2018 to contractors. Okay, that's the Nigerian Tribune. From there, let's go to This Day. This Day says Paris Club refund, Malami's action against public morality and interest, say governors. Alleged special relationship exists between the AGF consultants above Nigeria's interests, okay, and say payment authorized, processed with unprecedented speed, not common in public service. All right, these are all coming from the governors. Okay, the blueprint, federal government to use 1.1 billion naira to probe $10 billion PNID contract scam. Senate raises concern over rising judgment debts. All right, and then from there, federal government moves to probe Jonathan's government over PNID contract, says contract capable of undermining national economy. That's Daily Independent. All right, national economy says banks lending to private sector may hit 35 trillion naira by December. Okay, then Business Day says banks private sector credit up 32.81% in 3 years. Okay, all that's on the papers this morning. So let's start from Anambra State. Let's go to Anambra State, where the supplementary election will be holding today for Ihiala local government. Oladun Diari, I'm going to start with you on this before we go into Maina's issue. Well, some analysts are saying, or have said that, well, the results from one local government may not be sufficient enough to upturn the entire, especially when you see the regulation of spread, where you're supposed to have at least a percentage spread of, where your votes are coming from. But INEC is saying we have to do due diligence. What do you make of this?
Well, let me congratulate Anambrians, what do you call them, that they could hold that election devoid of the kind of acrimony that was expected, which warranted the militarization of the election, because they pulled it off successfully. To that extent, I was surprised when I heard that it was an inconclusive election. That for me took slight shine of the beauty of that election. However, it's just today, and because it's only Ihiala, I know Ihiala very well, and it's well covered. It's not a large land territory. The major crowd is in Ihiala, go. So you can be sure.
I like that.
It won't be Ihiala, go. Because let you know it's a place I know very well.
Okay.
But the truth is this: to fulfill all righteousness, I just should be allowed to run the race that way, so that nobody will come tomorrow and make that an issue in going to court and creating a situation whereby the wishes of a large crowd of people on Anambra State will be swept aside, and the decision of just one man or a panel of judges will now become supreme. Okay, that will have defeated the ends of the election. So let them have the election. The margin is wide. I mean, but then everybody should have a say, while INEC will have its way. I should expect that latest, if not tonight, by tomorrow morning, we know where we are.
Right.
But the picture is not cloudy. It's clear.
It's okay. Well, we must wait until INEC tells us this is the outcome of this election. Now, Funke, the point there is, we saw some of the, at the election during the weekend on Saturday, we saw some glitches, preliminary, especially with the BVAS, the bimodal voter accreditation system that is being used, which is more sophisticated than the card reader that was, that was in use in previous elections. What do you think INEC should be looking forward to in a way of perfecting this? Because for every extra election they have is an opportunity to perfect whatever they're presenting.
First, I'd like to pick up from where he stopped. He says, everyone should have it.
Go.
Not that one. He said, everyone should have his way, and INEC should have its
No, they have their say.
And INEC should have its way.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. Beautiful way to put it.
I can't for my
having said that,
two poetic licenses from Ihiala. Go first, number one.
So having said that, I think INEC did very well. INEC did quite very well. I was quite impressed. Just as he said, the light there for me was supplementary. However, the results are there before everyone. We wait for Ihiala today, and we see what's going to happen. But the beauty of that Anambra election, to me, was the sidestepping of the two major political parties. The fact that APGA came out so strongly, and the people voted en masse for them with the results we've seen so far. I mean, they cleared 18 local governments. That was beautiful. I felt like hope coming alive again in Nigeria, that it's not going to be business as usual. The two major parties at the moment will fight for their lives come 2023, from what we've seen with the Anambra elections. And I love that fact. No, you could bank on that, because when hope dies, then there is nothing
There's nothing else to do.
Anambra has been an Abga state all the way. Remember that.
And then they maintain it.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's the point we're saying.
It was like Lagos. It was like Lagos that has always been
a fraction of Nigeria, Anambra. And talking of the entire 37.
But that is the beauty of democracy in the first place.
You
know,
vote
because
for your convictions.
all states or all political parties can't. Let's say just one or two political parties
cannot
can't
continue
always
to dominate.
Exactly.
Let's
see the elements of. There was a time we had the Labour Party in Ondo State.
And then
we had Zenith Labour Party.
Very good.
I'm against domination. Domination is evil. It makes people feel that they can ride roughshod over the masses, and that is where we are today. That we are buying gas for 8,500 naira.
And then the federal government itself saying food insecurity is now a national threat.
And a cup of beans for 450 naira. I don't understand why they're now telling us it's national threat. I didn't just come to that reality.
We've been shouting about it for long.
So for me,
a long time.
I will wish it will be a wake-up call now to all other political parties to see that if it can happen in Anambra, it can happen elsewhere.
Exactly.
But in Lagos State, that you mentioned, it will take more than a campaign to overthrow APC.
Don't be too sure. Don't be too sure.
I didn't say,
like they say,
I said it will take more than a campaign.
Yeah, but like they say, in politics, anything can happen.
Absolutely.
You recall
change also is the only permanent thing in life.
Exactly. Recall in 2015, no one expected that an incumbent government can be, taking over.
If you say
so the point
you are not a political pundit. We did our homework, and we knew that APC was going to drive PDP away.
It's all right.
Leave it at that.
No, but it's fine. But all of that is still the beauty.
Election,
all of that is still the beauty of
I was sure that APC will have the day. No, there was no contest about that.
All right. Now, finally, from Anambra, before we go, Funke, what kind of governor at this point do you think Anambra people need? Because the Anambra people, to a great extent, are somebody
divided.
Apart from being divided, somebody who was analyzing them, they're just governments in themselves. You're a government in yourself. You're a government in because people provide everything for themselves.
It's everywhere.
It looks like they don't even need the government.
I think Anambra people need a governor who will reconcile all warring parties. By that I don't mean political parties. I mean all warring groups and interests within the state. We want to see a governor who brings Anambra together, brings cohesion and peace to Anambra. We want to see that state boasting of millionaires and billionaires.
Oh, no, of course.
And trade and technology.
Has the largest concentration of
followed by Ihiala.
Followed by Ihiala. Go.
I mentioned But let me tell you, Anambra has been a bit luckier than other southeastern states.
Okay.
The road networks into the interior, they are not bad. For me, the major issue now is to bring down do we call it a political crisis now, that
Precisely.
brought life to all manner of crisis. And of course, he must also be ready to work with the other southeastern governors, whereby whatever are the grievances can be channeled appropriately without the loss of quality lives. Like the way Dr. Akunyili was wasted. A lot of people have been so wasted. That without peace, there can't be growth, there can't be development.
So then we need a reconciliation.
Governor.
Yes.
Exactly. Because Anambra State is quite central.
It shouldn't come in as a warrior. There's no war.
Most of some of the iconic founding fathers from the East are from Anambra State.
Right.
Like we had Nnamdi Azikiwe from Anambra State. We also have the Odumegwu Ojukwu from Anambra State.
There is too much at stake in Anambra for them to continue in that political crisis. I hope that when the governor emerges at the end of the day, the other contestants will rally around him and give peace a chance in that state.
But I wouldn't want them to go to court. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, we hope that it'll be that ability, like you said earlier. That is why INEC is coming to put everything straight so that there won't be need. It'll be so clear that there won't be need to go to court for anyone saying that we have our misgiving here and there.
I hope so.
All right, we wait for today. Let's like you said, either later today or tomorrow. All things being equal, we'll get to hear from Ihiala. Go, so that. Okay, let's move to this next story on the front page of the Daily Trust and several other stories here. Pension scam. Pensioners cheer as Maina bags 61 years imprisonment, and he's supposed to run all of that 61 years in 8 years.
Concurrently.
What do you make of
for
this?
me, it's like all of these things, they are very annoying, to use that word. Number one,
annoying that he is going to jail?
No, wait. That is taking all of 7 years or so before it could be brought to book. Just last Tuesday, I told you guys here that some people who should be in prison, they are in palaces across the world, enjoying Nigerian money. Yesterday, I concluded that EFCC is an aberration.
Aberration?
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
But it's a creation
all
of the law.
over the world, they ensure that the bodies that fight corruption and the related cases, they are within the local police. They don't have to create an armed force body. If you look at it, if you place the cost against performance, then you know that it have not delivered. And that's my position. Look, somebody stole almost 1 trillion naira. You need to go and aggregate the dollar, the houses in America, in Dubai, and everywhere. And then you will be shocked. Okay, if they had handled this case very well before now, the man should have been gone for it. Not only that, I'm not querying the wisdom of the judicial officers now, but that the man will spend 8 years and come back to enjoy the remainders of his loot because he's paying a paltry 2 billion naira. Okay? When you look at the list of what was traced to him as against 2 billion and then spending 8 years, the global world will see us as not serious, that we're not fighting corruption the way it should be fought. It deserves a more serious punishment, perhaps a life sentence, because elsewhere, if it's in China, you know what they will do.
I know. Funke, what do you make of this?
For me, it takes a crowd to steal at that level, a community of corrupt people to steal at the level at which Maina did. And for justice to have been delayed for 7 years shows that there is something wrong with our corruption drive. The fight against corruption on one hand. On the second hand, it shows that there are people working underground. I mean, he couldn't have had all that money to himself. And so this has been delayed for me. I'm believing that that's why it's been delayed this long. Having said that, all of what he stole, we need to move on from we have recovered this to where is the money and what are you doing with the money given the debt profile
We
of
understand
Nigeria.
he's forfeiting about 2 houses.
Just.
And
Just.
As
When I
before,
heard
he's
this news
refunding-
yesterday, I
He said
went
he
and
has
saw.
50 houses in
billion
Dubai.
naira.
I mean, it's like a
What are we
slap
talking about? On the wrist.
You know, when I heard this news yesterday, I went like, so, just that,
You know what this has done?
just that.
It has shown potential rogues now that
That you can get
if
away
just
with
you
it.
can steal and get away with it. Let me also tell you, we still have a no consequence environment, largely by looking at this kind of case, because for me, it's done incalculable damage.
Do you
If you
know?
must know, we're talking of funds meant for pensioners,
You've killed
people
people.
who had worked for 35 years, and this is what they rely, money from here, what they rely on for their sustenance. We're still saying that the money, what they're paying them is not enough, but by now appropriating so much, then you have left them in the cold. Again, like she said, judgment should go, I mean, it should go all the way. The banks, because you don't move so much money. I mean, you can't move 500 million naira physically. That's a lot of money. All the dollars that were going, billion and so you don't move
Back
there.
and forth and back and forth.
Why are they now being exempted? And that's why 40 FCC, they should go back to the drawing table and make sure they now begin fresh charges against those banks. That way, if any of them now gets punished for this, we may have started
It
the
will be a
real war
deterrent.
against corruption.
Do you
But
know-
if they get away with it, you can be sure that as we are talking, more people are routing stolen funds through the banks.
Which is a very important point to make this morning. The factor of the banks in the humongous corruption going on in Nigeria and the fact that we need to put a stop to that. Secondly, when I saw this yesterday, I went like, oh, they're not telling us about his shorts and his singlets and his pajamas.
He doesn't have expensive ones.
No, like, does he not?
Well, okay.
So
like they were telling us.
One guy is being feminist
Like,
there.
Yeah,
no, of course.
okay. I will
The
be.
point there is from the window where Desiani's case where they were talking about, very
things
But the point there is, in Desiani's case, a lot of people said that besides or beyond the concept of there are allegations of misappropriation here and there, that she in herself comes from a well-to-do background where in her respect she can afford those things in her own respect, even without being
It's the
minister
debasement
and all that.
of
But the point
women
is,
part of it that I didn't
But
like.
you see-
And the fact that we now have a male counterpart and you're not exhibiting is
fine. So we should
private
find
thing.
out. You want us to find out the cost of his
I
boxers?
would like
and-
to
and
know.
his socks
But talking seriously,
Yeah.
as much as we want to concede that Desiani had a blue blood, she's had a beautiful career in
Nobody's
Shell.
endorsing
Beyond
corruption.
that, the moment she was found with malfeasance that have stolen money, calling it laundry or whatever, you are just decorating corruption.
All right.
For me, theft is theft.
Theft
As
is theft.
as brought her to the marketplace.
All right.
Take her
We
to
have
court.
to-
Take her to court.
Exactly.
And then don't let it be 7 years like Maina. Hers is going on forever
let
as well.
the court
By the
make
way,
the
why is
pronouncement
nobody
and-
trying to bring her back to Nigeria?
All right, let's end it here. Desiani's case, our allegations. Let's leave it here because that's not the that's not the crux of our discussion now. Olade Indiario, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. And Funke Trasher, thank you very much for coming as well.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.